Fellow Toastmasters and friends, what's your resolution this year 2021? Do you want to become a more effective individual at work, at home? Do you want to be able to do more and be more for the people who matter to you? Holistic personal development is something I believe that we all can be. It's a way of life if we are to become effective as individuals, no matter where we are. Let me share with you some ideas of what holistic development is and how it may help us become effective. And at the end of my presentation, I will be entertaining questions that may help elaborate further or that may help you understand better what this concept of holistic personal development is. So let me share my screen. Can you see that? So I'm Lisa, so I consider myself a lifelong learner. I'm an educator, an author, and a speaker. And my personal philosophy of holistic personal development has brought me this far. And it has made me see and made me realize of how much I need to improve more on this area. Jim Rohn, one of my favorite mentors in the area of personal development, has said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And I hope that this 2021, we aim for holistic development so that indeed we can become effective as individuals. Holistic personal development means being whole or complete. So from the word whole, meaning one. And if we are to be successful, may we consider the principle of the plant. For a plant to thrive and bloom or serve its purpose, of course, it has to have the complete elements: the sun, the oxygen, fertilizer, and the like, so that it will thrive as a plant. Similarly, if we want to bloom in life, I believe that we need to have the balance of these elements, which I consider as the five major areas of our life. It was Robin Sharma who said that life is an indivisible whole, which means balance is indeed needed. So, what are these five major areas that I'm talking about? The first is the spiritual aspect of our life. The philosopher Perry Teilhard de Chardin has said, we are not human beings having spiritual experience. Instead, we are spiritual beings having human experience, which means that the spiritual aspect of our life is real, and it's really part of our being a person. And this is also what I discovered, and I shared this in my book. A strong spiritual foundation carries you through life's tough times, no matter what your religious belief is. And that is very true. Because developing our spiritual aspect is a personal choice. And of course, it's also a way of life. What does it mean to develop our personal aspect? You have the four things that we may want to consider. First is discovering our faith. Of course, knowing what it is that we believe in. And the second is, after discovering our faith, understand your faith or understand what we believe in. So learn about it. Third is to grow in that area. And finally, practice what we believe in. Practice your faith, because it's in the Bible that says faith without action is dead. So it is important also that just as we say that we believe in a being that is more powerful than any of us, then we also put that into action. That's for spiritual development. And I also discovered the truth in Jim Rohn's statement, which says the Bible is as spiritual as it is practical. Advice for longevity and prosperity, and it's really biblical and philosophical in nature. It says in Psalm 34, verse 13 to 15, if you desire a long life, if you want prosperity, keep your mouth from falsehood, keep your lips from deceit, turn away from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. So, dear friends, hope this will be one of the pieces of advice that we remember as we move in this year 2021. The second aspect of our being is the physical health. We are not just spiritual beings, we are also physical beings, and that is very evident. Another statement by Jim Rohn goes like this: take care of your health because that is the only vehicle that can carry you through this thing called life. And it's also interesting, I found it interesting that even the great thinkers like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Mahatma Gandhi claims or confirms that our health is our first wealth. In the Bible, it also says in 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16, do you know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? Which means that our physical health, our physical bodies is really important. Our body is a holy sanctuary. And of course, it's the only thing that will carry us in our journey in life. Because once our health is gone, game is over for us. So take care of our physical health. And here are some 5 habits that we may want to include for this year 2021. First is have a healthy diet. Eating right. Diet is usually equated to eating less, but in reality, or in its real sense, having a healthy diet means eating the balanced amount of food so that we can have the nutrition that we need for our body. Second habit is exercise. Move your body. Third, sleep. And sleep also refers to the quality of sleep. And in one of the talks, in TED Talks, one speaker made this strong statement that sleep is our superpower, and scientific researches would back up the importance of quality sleep for our optimal functioning. So it's very important that we have the sleep needed by our body. Fourth, relax. And relaxation, by the way, my dear friends, would include mental rest. For some people, they will say that their way of relaxation is through Facebook time. But if we are not mindful with our browsing in our Facebook feed, we are not intentional, if we are not mindful, we may absorb the negativities that are posted online by some people we know and some people we don't. So when we say relaxation, it means being intentional with the activities that will help us really relax physically and mentally. And finally, refresh, pamper yourself. At the end of the day, after a long, stressful day, take a breather or take time off to rejuvenate yourself. And by refreshing yourself, by doing things that will activate your creative self, you will be able to be more alive and invigorated as you face another day. So, my dear friends, those are the 5 habits that we may want to include in our year 2021 for great health. aspect is the intrapersonal aspect. This refers to our self-knowledge leading to self-awareness. It covers our values, thoughts, emotions, aspirations, and intentions. This is who we are on the inside. And when we say intrapersonal, my dear friends, the question, do you know who you are, is an all encompassing question that will really make you look at yourself in your real sense. This will include, of course, your scars, both the visible and invisible ones, your emotions, your thoughts. So, this is your inner world. And it's very important, my dear friends, to be able to develop this aspect because we cannot give what we do not have. And if we know who we are able to extend this knowledge to other people. As Michael Beckwith says, like yourself when you're by yourself so you can be with others. So, my dear friends, if you want love and if you want other people to love you, you have to begin by loving yourself because you cannot give what you do not have. The fourth aspect is the interpersonal aspect. It's very interesting and it's so timely that our theme this meeting is being stronger together. And indeed, our relationships, the interpersonal aspect of our life, makes our life meaningful. It makes life worth living. Your relationship with others, from your loved ones to your clients and to the people in your community in general, would encompass your interpersonal aspect. Tony Robbins said, "The quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. And the quality of your relationships is determined by the quality of your communication." And so, my dear friends, as we work on improving our relationships with others, we also work on improving our communication. And that, my friends, fellow Toastmasters, I believe is one of the reasons why we joined Toastmasters, right? To improve our communication skills. Because by doing that, we will be able to relate better with other people. And this is what I said a while back in our table topics, that our success and effectiveness depends upon the participation of others and in our lives and vice versa. That's by Roy Wagner. Another, that's the repeated version by Tony Robbins. So, my dear friends, it's very important that we develop this aspect, our relationships with others. So, it's not enough that we only relate with ourselves, we also acknowledge others so that we will be more effective in our life. Make your relationships work by working on your communication skills. And Les Brown also says, work on your communication skills because the moment you open your mouth to speak, you tell the world who you are. Finally, the fifth aspect of holistic personal development is the professional aspect. And by this, my dear friends, I refer to the definition given by Webster's Dictionary, who defined professional aspect as a calling that requires a specialized knowledge or long preparation. In addition to this, the professional aspect of our life refers to what we do for a living, our profession. Do you still remember the CPD law or the continuing personal development? That was several years ago by PRC, and many professionals grumbled about it. But I believe the concept is there, continuing professional development. Because after all, life is about continuous improvement. And if you don't evolve, you stay stagnant or slide down. The opposite of professional development is best stated by Stephen Covey, who said, "Experience is overrated. Some people say they have 20 years, when in reality, they only have 1 year's experience repeated 20 times." My dear friends, you are your greatest asset. And this 2021, if you want to be more effective both at work and at home, I do hope that you aim to develop in those five major areas of your life. Before I end my presentation, let me have this few more minutes for a question or some questions. Tia Mikael.
Yes, Toastmaster Lisa. I'm just somehow confused with how to reconcile the two aspects. First one is the spiritual aspect and the intrapersonal aspect, in which the first one somehow tells us to, deny ourselves in order to open our vessel as a person and be infiltrated by God and spiritual aspects like that. But the interpersonal aspect would also suggest that we have to love ourselves. And somehow, in my opinion, it is kind of a contrast of the spiritual desires that we have as a person. Yes. Maybe there is a way to reconcile both aspects.
Yes, thank you so much for that question, Toastmaster Mikael. And that's really a very, what do you call that, thought provoking and very good question for this. Yes, the spiritual aspect, saying that you have to deny yourself, that's one of the teaching. And we have to understand that's only a part of the teaching because it's also biblical. The commandment that says, love others, love God and others as yourself, which means you have to begin from within. So, by holistic personal development, I refer to beginning from within so that we will really develop these areas so we can reconcile the two. Because, of course, the Bible also teaches us to love ourselves because we cannot do that if we do not know ourselves. Thank you. I hope, did I satisfy your question?
Yes,
Toastmaster?
Toastmaster Lee. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Okay. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Toastmaster Wendy.
If if I were to ask for an advice,
Mhm.
which of the different areas do you think should be a person's priority in order for him or her to develop himself? So you have mentioned different areas, right? So if
Yes.
somebody's a beginner in personal development, where do you think he or she should start first?
With those for five aspects, there is no specific requirement as to what we should start first. I believe it would depend on where the person needs the development more. So if you are a person who has a very low self-esteem, I believe you can start with intrapersonal. If you are a person who has somehow lost your way, has lost your faith, I believe you can start with your spiritual journey.
Thank
Did I
you.
answer?
Close my.
Yes. So there it goes, my dear friends. I hope to entertain more questions, but with that, you can contact or connect with me after this so I can answer your questions more about this topic. Good evening, everyone, and may we have a fantastic year with the more effective versions of ourselves. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.